Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back. As usual, I'm here every Sunday sharing messages for the collective to better understand the energies that are taking place at this time and to provide you with wisdom and guidance that may help you to maneuver the energies of all the shifts that are taking place at this time. So, as I keep repeating, I will always start the message the same for those who are new here to better understand that everything I say is coming from the context of we are soul beings having a human experience. And our souls chose to be here at this time because we are going through changes that were prophesied by many, many ancient cultures. And essentially, we were told that one day the energies of the earth as we know it would change. And that is what we are seeing today. It is important that people understand that the reasons why many of us may be feeling chaos and turmoil and almost just kind of like we don't know what's going on, and there are so many changes that are taking place, both in the collective, but also internally. And the reason for this is because the earth is literally going through a transition and is going through a period of massive evolution. We have to remember that everything on this planet is alive. Again, we have been focused to look at the material world only and to completely omit the fact that there are multiple other dimensions that we cannot see unless we train ourselves to see with our spiritual eye. And this essentially is what is happening to the collective because we have been stuck in a system that focuses so much on the physical material realm, omitting all of the other dimensions. And again, remember, it's like there is a pillar with the physical dimension being at the bottom, but there are all these other dimensions above, and all of these other dimensions above are what control this physical reality. So, because we have not been in tune and have not even been aware of all of the other dimensions that are actually affecting us, because these dimensions cannot be seen with the physical eyes, they are seen through the different senses. And we all have heightened abilities and heightened awareness. It's just that we have not trained these aspects. We live in a world where awareness and focus seems to be very, very, very diminished. And people have difficulty staying focused or paying attention to one thing and staying committed to that thing because society is constantly showing us that instant gratification is the only way to go. So just because everybody else is doing it doesn't make it right. And so essentially, the reason that I come on here every week to do these videos, and even though these videos are timeless, they really are to help you understand that everything that we have been taught is a lie. Everything we have been taught to look at the world through the wrong perspective. One of my favorite quotes ever is when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And so really my intention here is to help you to start looking at the things you normally always see, but looking at them through a different perspective and looking them through a perspective that you might never have necessarily considered before. And this might be, why you're not able to move forward. Many of us find ourselves lost or unhappy, or even very interestingly, I was chatting to a friend the other day, and she was telling me about this incredible book about how to heal your body. And we were talking about the fact that people drink so much. And it seems that, really, of all the drugs out there, alcohol is the only one that's legal. Alcohol and cigarettes are the ones that are legal. And yet they are some of the worst drugs out there. And so we have to question, again, how is it that it is illegal for you to go and consume, I don't know, say magic mushrooms, which actually has the ability to connect us to all these other non-physical dimensions, but it is illegal it is illegal for you to consume mushrooms, but it is okay for you to go and ingest processed foods that have way worse substances in there. So how is it that, again, a government which is not something that is tangible, again, it is something that if we believe in government, then government exists. It needs multiple people to believe in government for government to exist. But since the height of the pandemic, many people have come to start questioning the authority of their governments and the authority of if those people who are in power, do they really have our best interest at heart? And so again, Everything is happening for a reason. There are no mistakes. Remember that when you look at the world around you and you see the amount of wisdom and intelligence that was needed in order to create everything that we see, in order to create the world, in order to create humans, in order to create animals, there is such complexity and knowledge and wisdom that was needed in order to create all that is. And so there are no mistakes. And because the world is going through a period of massive transition, what is happening is that these are the things that need to take place in order for us to transit into the next phase of humanity. So in so basically everything happens in cycles, and there are cycles of humanity that exist for thousands and thousands of years. And so ever since 2020, we came into the close of three major cycles. One which was, I think, 25,000 year cycle, another that was like 45,000. I forget the number, so please don't quote me on this. But there were three major cycles that were both that all three were thousands of years long that were coming to a close. And essentially, they say that we have been living through the dark ages, and that so as at the start of COVID, the messages that I received very, very, very clearly, and these messages were loud and clear. It was almost like they were being shouted at me through a megaphone, were Africa rising, and it is always darkest before the dawn. And so we have seen, obviously, for me who is here in Africa, and I think most of you who are listening are here on the continent, is that Africa has been held under a a spell almost, where the whole world looks at Africa as, oh, all the poor starving children of Africa. And what people don't realize is that when we're constantly projecting a certain belief in a direction, you actually create that reality. So by the powers that be constantly telling the rest of the world that Africa is poor, and that everyone in Africa needs help, and that everyone is very primitive and not advanced, etc., 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 this has essentially held the whole of Africa and her population in in place, not allowing Africa to evolve. But also the fact that Africa, being the continent that holds all the resources, that basically feeds the entire world, and that everybody is continuing to profit off of Africa. But as a result, with the concept of Africa rising, well, essentially what has been happening in Western Africa, where new powers are starting to be created, new alliances are being created, and where basically a lot of the African people are saying no more. We will no longer be treated the way we have been treated before. And essentially, the self-worth of people in Africa is starting to rise. And because so much knowledge and so much wisdom was held, because a lot of the ancient wisdom is passed on verbally through the African cultures, none of this information was written down. But now the Africans are realizing now is a time to start sharing this wisdom, because this wisdom is ancient. And there is a lot of information that is coming back. But again, something that they won't tell you is that there are major, major, major energies that are coming through our solar system. And there are massive amounts of high level vibration, because remember, everything is energy and everything is frequency. And this is why many of you might be feeling that time is speeding up, because essentially the energies that are coming in from the galactic center and from our sun are creating frequencies that have not been present on this earth. And this is why many of you may be feeling all kinds of strange experiences mentally, physically, emotionally, where you might be feeling that you're going through a mental roller coaster, emotional roller coaster. You might be feeling tired. You might be feeling very energetic on some days. You might be feeling super hungry on some days, having weird eating habits, having weird energy habits. Just, you might be noticing a lot of changes, and that is because of the frequencies that are coming in. And essentially, and now you might not all believe this, and that's okay, because there is so much information out there, and I'm not trying to have you believe anything. I'm simply here to share the messages that I have received in hopes that they will help some of you out there. And so what is happening, because they say that back in the day, thousands of years ago, that we were far more evolved. But because of tampering that was done to our DNA, we have become less advanced in our abilities. And so, what is happening with all these energies and frequencies coming from all the different planets and from the sun is that parts of our DNA that have been dormant for a long time are actually coming back online. So, parts of us, abilities that we didn't even know we had, are being activated. And so, this can seem scary. If any of you out there love superhero movies the way I do, you'll notice that whenever the superheroes start coming into their powers, there's always a time of major shifts where, it starts off where they feel like they're going crazy, where something's wrong with them, they don't know what it is, then the powers start coming online. And it's only when they start to manage their emotions that they are able to start managing their abilities and their powers. So essentially, this is what is happening to humanity. And as we are going, they talk about how we supposedly came from apes, well, and monkeys. I don't know about that. But, anyways, those are conversations for other days, I guess. But essentially, if we did transition from monkeys, there was a time that we went from, I don't know, is it Homo erectus to Homo sapien? And during that transition, they talk about when they were fully, when those humans were fully evolved into their new facets, but they never talk about that transitionary period. Remember, that transitionary period takes place over long periods of time. And so humanity has been transitioning for a long period of time. Essentially, we have been transitioning since like the 1960s, when they had started saying that we were moving into the age of Aquarius, and where a lot of the spiritual sort of information from the East started becoming more and more mainstream and started coming into Western ideology. Because really, if we break it down, what has happened is that as we talk about consumerism, globalism, capitalism, these are very Western ideologies that have essentially been forced onto the whole world. And so, if we think back to history and we look back through history, we'll notice that everything was about war, everything was about one side basically trying to take over the other and force their ideologies and beliefs onto other people. And so, this is why today, what is happening is that people are coming back into their self worth, coming back into their self value, and realizing that we are all different, and that this concept of one race, yes, we are one race, but we are all different in the fact that all the different places that we come from, we have different beliefs, we have different ideologies, we have different ways of doing things. And it is about embracing and celebrating the difference and uniqueness of each of the different cultures and learning from each other, as opposed to trying to put one blanket rule over everyone. And the one blanket rule that we should have is that we are all divine beings, and that we are here to elevate human consciousness, because unless human consciousness evolves, nothing on this planet is going to change. And it is safe to say that everything that is happening in our external reality is essentially just mimicking what is happening inside each and every one of us. But because of all the trauma, because of all the pain, because of all of the suppressing and all of the ignoring and the avoiding and the pretending that it's not happening and pushing everything beneath the surface, and even our governments who have been lying to us for years and years and years about pretty much everything, only giving us the information that they think that we should know as opposed to giving us the truth. And as a result of this, everything is now coming out. And basically, the Bible talks about the book of Revelations. And again, I keep referring to this because essentially right now we are in the time of revelations, where the truths are coming to light. And these are the truths that are happening in the collective, as well as the truths that are happening inside of us, which is why there is a need to go inwards and to question, what is our truth? Are we continuing to move to the beat of somebody else's drum, or are we tapping into our divine sovereignty and our free will to be able to decide what works for us? So again, I've pulled some cards here. The message, the question is always the same as I pull the cards. The question is, what messages of guidance are needed for the collective? So the first card we have is Autumn. Release the old and rest. Yes, beautiful souls. This is essentially what we are going through. We are all being taken through a time of releasing the old. But in order to release the old, we have to question. It's like when we are cleaning out our closet, we always have to kind of scan through, go through everything that's in the cupboard, and then basically decide, okay, yes, I'm going to keep this, I'm going to give this away, I can put this in the bin, whatever. So it is the same concept of going inwards, where we are being asked to question our beliefs, most first and foremost, because our beliefs are the foundation of everything. Our beliefs are what create the way we think. They are what create the way we act. They are what will create the way we behave. And so it is very, very, very important that we go inwards and we start questioning our beliefs, because a lot of the things that we have told, and the thing is, just because when you have repetition, 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 obviously you believe something, but just because the majority of people are doing something, does it make it okay? No. And this is essentially what we have been indoctrinated into, is into believing the certain things that are absolutely inhumane and not at all natural. We have been programmed to look at these things as being acceptable. I can give an example is the news. The news is constantly talking about all the negative things in the world. Well, remember, the news stations are dominated by capitalism. So they will feed you stories that is going to get them more views so that they can get more advertising dollars. So essentially, everyone is being incited to do what they do for capital earnings, as opposed to for the greatest good of all. So if we start shifting the way we look at the world and start questioning, am I doing things out of the belief that this is just the way things are? Or can I start creating my own beliefs and say, hey, this is not good. This is not natural. This is not divine. This is not who we are as human beings, which are, at the end of the day, we are not human. We are all divine beings experiencing different facets of reality, because we are all in these individual vessels. So start paying attention, ask what works for you, and ask what works for the collective. The next card we have is Hold the Space with a Druid. Yes, the Druids were a very magical people that were somewhere in like the UK area, and they had divine wisdom and they had divine knowledge, and they were very, very, very connected to the plant world and to the natural world. And basically, when we slow things down and we spend times in nature, nature is the greatest teacher, because nature is the only thing that is natural. Nature is what was created by the divine supreme creator. And so when we slow things down and we spend time in nature, nature teaches us so much. Nature reminds us what it means to be in the natural world, what it means to be in harmony with the natural world. And right now, there is so much trees cutting down, and there is so much, yes, they're talking about climate change, and climate change is a very is a very hot topic at the moment. But rather than listening to what our governments are telling us, because again, you can go and do your own research. The natural heating that is going on in the planet right now is part of the natural cycles of our planet. And it is not because cows are farting and because we're driving too many cars that temperatures are rising. This is the natural shift of the earth. We are also going through something which is called the precession of the equinoxes. And so essentially, North Pole is going to the south, South Pole is going to the north, which is why we are experiencing cooler weathers in the southern hemisphere and warmer weathers in the northern hemisphere. You can research this. There are many scientists that are talking about it. Stop buying into the mainstream narrative by people whose only incentive is money. They do not have our greatest intention or our greatest care in mind. So the next card we have is Winter. Take care of your needs. Yes, absolutely. Winter is here. And I don't know why the reference that's coming to mind is winter is coming, which I believe was from Game of Thrones. Never watched Game of Thrones, but I know that basically the whole world was pretty much obsessed with it. And so, winter is a time of, think about animals when they're in winter. I don't know why the image of bears is coming to mind. Well, they'll go and they'll hibernate for a long period of time. Many of you might have found yourself in a period of isolation for a long period of time. And this isolation has been needed for all of us to basically go inwards, spend more time with ourselves, and spend more time experiencing our own energies, because every single human being is emitting their own frequency. And when we are constantly around people, other people's energies and frequencies will distort our frequency. And unknowingly, we can start to pick up on behaviors, thoughts, beliefs, ideas that other people are feeding us, but also that the matrix system is feeding us. So by spending time alone and taking care of our own needs is essential to better comprehend who we be and who we are. Because of the schooling system, and the schooling system is essentially just programming from a very young age, so that from a very young age, children will start to believe these things, and everybody, and if everybody is believing something, then it becomes the reality. But what most people are believing is wrong. And unless we take the time to disconnect from the system that we have been so entrenched in, it is impossible for us to see through the lies, to see through the deception. It's very interesting because even, in advertising, they study psychology to be able to understand how smells, colors, sounds will affect the human brain. And so you might walk into a shop and think that you need that thing, but only because the advertising, the music, the sounds, everything that they've used has manipulated your brain into believing that you need that thing, so that you will go and spend your money and buy that thing, even though that thing is full of chemicals, full of poisons, and things that actually are depleting you and lessening and minimizing your health, and actually affecting you in so many more ways that you realize. Health is the number one thing that we need to be focusing on. And if you pay attention to the system, sorry, there's a fly hanging around here. If you pay attention to the system, you will notice that everything is basically degrading our health. If we look back even 20, 30, 40 years ago, look at how much healthier people were than today. Things like diet, especially here in Africa, even just 10 years ago, cancer, diabetes was not a thing that you found in many Africans. And suddenly it's all over the place. You have to question why. Why? Because we have been following the Western mindset, the Western ideologies, which is all about pushing the processed foods rather than focusing on the natural world, and all those chemicals that we are ingesting through the products that we eat, the products we put on our body, full of chemicals. And all of these things are disrupting our endocrine system, they're disrupting our lymphatic system, they are disrupting the overall good functioning of our body, our minds, our emotions, and everything. So take care of your needs. Next card we have is summer. So from winter, when you hibernate in winter and you take care of your needs, when summer comes round, you will be able to bask in joy and light. You will be able to reap the benefits of all those seeds that you have planted. Now is a time to plant seeds. We, each and every single one of us individual human beings, has the ability to decide the future of our planet, the future of the collective. We have to decide, because we are in this massive transitionary point, and the reason we are being bombarded and so many things are being thrown at us is because the powers that be are trying to ensure that we stay in this negative system as opposed to moving into a new system that benefits the collective. Next card we have is 7, Libra, balance. Yes, beautiful souls. 2023, the numerology is a 7. 7 is about truth. 7 is about spiritual truth. For those of you who are connected to the Bible, the book of Revelations, again, talks about the number 7 very many times. They talk about the 7 trumpets, they talk about the 7 calls, and essentially 2023 has been the year of truth. And truth was needed in order for things to come back into a place of balance. Think think for yourself and share with me in the comments down below, what areas of your life have you been balancing out? What truth have you received this year that has helped you to balance things out in your life and to bring more harmony? And the thing is if each and every one of us individual human beings finds more balance in our lives, we will find more balance in the collective. It is important. The reason that there is so much turmoil going on is because people are not balanced in themselves and are so focused on everybody else's business as opposed to being focused on just themselves, that as a result, we are affecting other people's realities. We each came here, we were born alone, we will die alone. And it is because we are here to experience, when we are not in this physical form, we are all interconnected. The reason we come into physical form is to experience our own individual reality, so that through our own unique gifts and our own unique frequency, we can continue to expand and to build and to bring new things into the collective. So if you find yourself on this video today, it is because you have a great mission and your unique gifts are what are needed at this time. Next card we have is North Node, Future. Again, another 7. The fact that we have 7, 7. North Node is what truth is needed to balance you out so that you can move towards your future. So in astrology, when we look at the North Node is essentially the main purpose your soul came here, the main lessons your soul came here to learn, the main experiences your soul came here to have. So feel into your heart and really question what drives you, what fills you with passion, what do you feel that you could do for free and still feel joyful every single day. That is the thing that you are supposed to follow. That is your truth. Next card we have is another 7. Wow. And we have Uranus, change. So interesting. So Uranus is the planet that that dominates Aquarius. And as we are now in the age of Aquarius, we are going through a time of major change. But it is not, Uranus doesn't bring the same change, the kawaii change, the usual change that we are used to, but it brings change that we haven't seen before. Change that is unexpected. Change that is outside the box. So be prepared. So we really are being asked to think outside the box and to go outside the box, because the box that we have all been stuck in, the box that we have basically been imprisoned in, is changing and is opening up. And so it is time for us to move outwards and to experience all these things that we hadn't had the opportunity to experience before. Next card we have is 10th house, authority. And the numerology here is a 3, which is all about communication and creativity. And so really all of these cards here, all the preparation, all the messages before are saying, all of this is needed for you to become an authority of yourself, to become an authority of your own life. Essentially, we should each individually making decisions from our hearts, as opposed to making decisions because something out here has told us that this is the way it needs to be. We each need to come back and to have authority over our own life. This is what it means to basically be sovereign in our nature. We have the ability to decide. We have the ability to choose. But the decisions that we are making and the choices that we are making essentially should be coming from ourselves, should be coming from what we feel, because we all came here individually to experience our own uniqueness and to discover who we are and to experience our higher self in human form and to see that we are unique and we are so much more powerful than we realize, because we are all multifaceted and we have aspects to ourselves that we didn't even know were available to us, because other people in society and the matrix and the world and all this crazy life that we have been living in has trapped us again in this box, telling us that we do not have the ability to decide for ourselves, that the government needs to be able to decide what we can and can't ingest. What utter nonsense. So start paying attention to where you are giving your power away and where you are allowing somebody else to have authority over you or your life. Next card we have is, interestingly enough, you're already doing it. Stop overthinking. Keep facing your true north. Yes, if you are here today, it is because you are already on this journey. You are already on this path. You have already answered the call that the earth sent out to you, saying that she needed your help in going through this transition. Because all of us that are here now, especially you who are on this video, it's that you are vibrating at a higher frequency than most, and you chose to come here because you heard the call that earth needed help in her transition. And the thing is, remember, earth is our home. If we do not protect our home, where are we going? You know, they talk about, yeah, we can get onto some spaceships and run away to Mars. Yeah, I don't think the average person is going to be able to afford just running off and going to Mars. And also, running away from our problems is not the way to deal with things. So we have to stay and we have to fight and we have to protect our home. Just the way you wouldn't allow any riffraff, and you protect your home and you clean your home and you make sure that your home is a clean, nice space for you to live in. Why are we not doing that to our earth? Because it's all well and good if you do that in your home, but if shit goes wrong with this planet, I'm sorry to say, you're probably not going to have a home left. So it is important and it is essential that we start being more respectful of our planet. And yes, people think, yeah, but who am I, one individual person? If only I'm the one who's making the change, nothing will change. Stop telling yourself that, because it only takes one person to make major changes. Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Gandhi. These are people, they were one person that influenced millions of people. So you could be that next person. Stop minimizing yourself. Stop allowing other people who shat on you and who dimmed your light to allow you to believe that you do not have the power to change the world, because you do, and that is why you're here. And you are already doing it. My message here is just to remind you and to see you, because many people probably don't see you, but I see you. God sees you. The universe sees you. And soon enough, if you continue on this journey, other people will see you and thank you for the inspiration that you have given them. The next card we have is Priestess. How are you being called to step up and lead? Yes. And you know, the thing is, because we live in a world where we have shitty leaders, let's just say it as it is, let's not look to them to define what leadership means. We have to define what leadership means. We have to decide. And for me, leadership means simply treading the path that others haven't tread before, and inspiring others to tread that path alongside with you, showing others that there is another way. It doesn't mean taking control over other people. We only have control over ourselves. We only have control over this vessel and what is going on within us. We don't even have any control about what is going on around us and outside of us. So the sooner we realize that by taking leadership over our vessel and to stop giving our power away to everything and everyone else, we start to show people and inspire others what it means to take sovereignty over your life and over your vessel. Because you are a pillar of light. Your vibration is rising. You are the oracle. Yes, beautiful souls, you came here to inspire others. You came here by just being yourself and following what your heart desires. You came here to show others and to raise your vibration. And you just being here, you don't even need to do anything, because the more you embrace who you are, you embrace your power, and you love yourself more than ever before, you are shifting the vibration, and your frequency impacts others so positively. They say that one person vibrating high has the ability to raise the vibration of up to 7,000 people. Imagine that. This war is about frequency. There is nothing else that you need. You don't have to go out there and do anything. That is what we have been lied to about. When we have control of the higher dimensions, the lower dimensions change, and they do what we desire. So us all setting the intention to be in love, to be in peace, to be in harmony, and to experience those things within ourselves, we start to experience them within our lives, and then that starts to have a snowball effect on all the people around us. So be a pillar of light, raise your vibration, and you are the oracle because you are sharing codes of truth with others. You are sharing codes of the highest possible vibration, which is who we all are naturally. Remember, we all come from source energy. We all come from the same place. And that place is a place of purity. Think of babies when a child is born, so pure because they have not yet been corrupted by this awful system that we are living in. So that is the truth that you emit when you raise your vibration. Unbound. Releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. Yes, because your soul is also letting go of the pain and the trauma from past lives. It is not only this life, because we are soul beings having a human experience. Reincarnation is a very real thing. And now, you might not believe that, and that's okay. You don't have to. That is my belief, and those are the messages that I receive from the universe. And so we are also clearing out trauma and pain from past lives and from our ancestors, and all those wounds that weren't able to be healed, and all those patterns that were created as coping mechanisms because people didn't have the ability to heal. Life was hard, life was difficult, life was dark. Now we are starting to see the life, which is why we are experiencing such changes on our planet, because people have been working with the light for more than ever before. And that is why the darkness is coming to light, because the light has been, a torch has been shone on all these corrupt, dirty things that have been going on, so that we can see and we can choose differently, because we are all being indoctrinated into this cult of capitalism and consumerism, and nothing that is good for the natural world, nothing that is really good for any of us out here. So we have to unbind ourselves from these patterns and these contracts that we created in past lives, and contracts where we believe, oh, it's hard, we have to work really hard to make money and be happy. Well, look at all the people who are working really hard, and well, because of the depreciation of all the currencies, people are working hard and it's not working out really well for them. So by changing our beliefs, we change our reality. So ask yourself, what beliefs are limiting you? What beliefs are you buying into? Because this is what everyone else is telling you. There are multiple dimensions. Don't get stuck on this third dimension. Don't get stuck in this reality when we realize that we have the power and the ability to change everything through our thoughts, our beliefs, and our heart. Next card is do the work. It's not enough to dream or pray. You're also got to take the positive action steps that you are being divinely guided to take. Yes, where are you being inspired to go? But maybe fear is holding you back because it's outside of the box, and you're just like, people are going to think I'm crazy. People are going to think I'm weird. It's okay. Let people think you're weird. Let people think you're crazy, because it's all the people who thought, who went against people thinking they were weird or crazy, that actually did big things in the world, that actually brought about great changes. Consistently working on your priorities will make you flourish like a lush flower garden. Yes, do the work. Focus on yourself. Go inwards. Pay attention to what works for you. Pay attention to what you're being called to, and take action. The universe is giving you gifts by giving you ideas. Your intuition is leading you. And one thing that I've learned along the years is, if you follow your intuition, it will never lead you astray. It might not make sense, because remember, your intuition is not on this physical dimension. Your intuition is working from way higher. way higher, has information that your conscious mind isn't even aware of. So if you start realizing that your intuition is you on a higher dimension, you will be taken to places that you wouldn't have expected. Next card we have is Windfall of Abundance. Yes, do the work. It pays. I can tell you this. I would not be here if I had not continued doing my work and stopped buying into the beliefs of everybody else and start creating my own beliefs and following my beliefs and following my intuition. So, windfall of abundance, an increase in abundance is arriving in many different forms, some of them unexpected. Be open to receiving and know that this abundance comes to you to support your life purpose, health, and charitable work. Yes, beautiful souls. We have been taught to believe that the only form of abundance is money. What absolute nonsense. There are so many other forms of abundance that are way more powerful, way higher in value. So start thinking about all the things that you already have. Everything you have in addition to your abilities and qualities is a form of abundance. The more qualities and abilities you have, that is a gift of abundance from the universe. So start opening up to realizing that everything you have access to is a form of abundance, and start thinking about super abundance. Believe yourself to be super abundance, and that everywhere you go, you just create more abundance, and that you create abundance for everyone that you come into contact with. Because yes, even the thoughts, the ideas, the creativity that comes to you is a form of abundance. And this abundance is giving you an opportunity to move in a new direction, a direction that your soul is choosing for. Don't be scared to follow that path, regardless. And it can feel scary because we fear the unknown. But sometimes the unknown is the best place to be, because that's where limitless possibilities exist. So open yourself up to the possibilities that you hadn't even imagined, because you haven't thought about all the things that exist outside of the box, where everyone will say you're weird and you're strange and you're crazy. It's okay. Be weird, be strange, be crazy, embrace it, because that is who you came here to be. Declutter. You'll feel better and more focused if you'll take the time to clear away clutter from your living and workspace. Donate what you can to help others who may need your items. Be sure to keep your schedule uncluttered as well. Yes, give things away, because, when we keep things, it holds energy. So by giving things away, you're releasing that energy from your life and you're making space for new energy. So, my because I love clothes and I love to shop, I can't lie. Whenever I buy new clothes, I have to give stuff away. And I give things away, things that I like, but, things that aren't tattered or broken or torn, just give them away, because sometimes it's nice to give nice things away to people who wouldn't be able to afford them or who wouldn't be able to have them. So give things away. Don't give away your junk. Give things away that you know that you like and that are in good condition. But if you haven't used it in the past 4 or 5 months, give it away. They say somebody's trash is somebody else's treasure. If you haven't used it, why is it sitting in your house collecting dust, serving no purpose, when that could be a piece of gold for somebody else? We don't realize that we could be holding the key to somebody else's fulfillment, to somebody else's destiny being fulfilled. So declutter, think about the things that you're holding on to, including the beliefs, including the people, including relationships, including, habits. Think of all these things that are not serving you, and things that you're doing because other people said that this is the way it should be done. This is how other people do things. Yeah, but other people are other people. You are you. Live your life. And last but not least, we have employment change. Your career path is leading you in a higher direction with positive changes to support your dreams, priorities, passions, and life purpose. Trust that these changes will help you release the old and welcome the new. You are being supported each step of the way. Yes, take a chance, make a change. It will reward you. Follow your heart, get out of your head and follow your heart, because now as we move into these other dimensions, It is about feeling with our emotions, feeling with all the other senses that we don't normally pay attention to. And our feelings, as much as this reality has said that feelings are weak, feelings are a superpower. Because when your feelings become heightened, you can even tune into things that can't be seen, but you can feel them. So we come to the end of our message, beautiful souls. All of this to say is that many changes are taking place, and do not be afraid to go where you have never tread before. Listen to your intuition, follow your heart, and most importantly, follow your feelings, because they will never, ever lead you astray. But most importantly, put yourself first and don't be afraid to take a risk that is positive for the upliftment of the whole collective. And as long as it is uplifting you, it is uplifting the collective. So much love to you all. Have a beautiful day, and I look forward to seeing you in next week's video. And definitely, please share this video with others who you feel will resonate with the message. Subscribe to the channel so that you can stay updated to more videos. And really just share with me in the comments down below if you have any questions. I'm always interested to hear about what's going on in your lives, and just to provide more guidance if I can. So we're all in this together. Just a reminder that you are not alone. Much love to you, and have a fabulous day. Bye for now.